Welcome back to More or Less, your favorite sports show. Thanks again for tuning in. I'm Chris.
I'm Gav.
And Marvin, what's up, guys?
And what's going on, gentlemen? How you doing?
Good, and yourself?
Very good, brother. Very good. Beautiful day. Football is back.
Woo!
Yes, it is.
Been waiting for this for so long. I'm excited.
Absolutely. I want to start off with Kansas City versus the Texans. Marvin, how's Mahomes looking?
Mahomes. I know we talked about it, Gav. We told you, Chiefs, the Texans had no chance against the Chiefs. Mahomes picking up right where they left off after the Super Bowl. 211 yards, 3 touchdowns.
He didn't even try that hard, too.
No, it was. It looked like child's play for him out there.
They're too good, man. They just picked up a nice running back, bro. Nice running back. Edwards-Helaire, man.
What do you think? What do you think about Edwards-Helaire?
I mean, so far, I think he's doing great. I don't know if he'll have these type of games, but I hope he does.
So now, because you said that, I think the Texans are maybe not as high ranked defensively as they normally are, but they're definitely no pushovers. For Helaire, for his compact size, I'm gonna say he's very dynamic, and for him to not get to put up these kind of numbers, 138 yards, 1 touchdown, very easily could have been 2 touchdowns.
Bro, they gave him the ball too. He had 25 carries.
Oh, definitely, bro. And then you saw that goal line stance, right? Texans were kind of at desperation mode. They didn't let him get in there, so he could have very easily been 142 touchdowns. But I think he's not that goal line back, right? He's that going to get you a lot of yards, very dynamic, going to get you a touchdown. But I think they need that kind of maybe a little bigger back to score those 1 yard line kind of touchdowns.
Hey, but let's not forget Watkins, 82 yards. Not a bad game.
Watkins coming back from an injury, bro. He looked really good, like fresh, fast, looked ready to play. I mean, a lot of us in the fantasy community picked up Hardman instead of Watkins, bro. And I just picked up a waiver. I'm gonna be the first one to say, bro. I just sent my waiver and dropped Hardman and picked up Watkins. Hopefully,
their wide receiver core is stacked. It's stacked. The worst one is probably Robinson, and he even had a touchdown, but it got called back. But even then, Hardman, all these guys can play, man. And you got, when it's all said and done, I think it's going to be Mahomes as the greatest quarterback of all time.
You think he's going to take Tom Brady's place?
I think so. The way this is, how much better can they get from here?
He's a young guy. He's a young man. He's 25 years old.
Yeah, and he has
super young.
What, $500 million?
$500 million richer.
$500 million.
$500 million. Hey, how much of that is guaranteed?
If he gets injured or anything like that, I think 171 or about around there is going to be guaranteed to him. Yeah. But I think if he actually plays those years, it's actually going to go a little over 500 mil.
That's the tough thing about football. Yeah. Guaranteed money.
Absolutely.
I'm super excited to see this guy play in the years coming, and this team is dangerous. You have 4 receivers to throw it to. You have a nice change of pace back with Darrell Williams. Like, that'll be hard to beat. It's going to be super interesting.
Didn't you think it was going to be more of like a evenly matched backfield? It was dominated by Helaire.
So I must say this: the Texans, David Johnson looked good. Like, coming back from a very hard knee injury, bro. You know, the ACLs, MCLs, those are always very devastating for any athlete, any sport. But David Johnson, playing against a good defense, looked pretty darn good.
You know what else looked good too for the Texans? Great sign too, Will Fuller.
He put in a lot of yards,
in receiving. Bro. He had a decent game.
Yeah,
he had a decent game. But where was Kenny Stills? Where was Randall Cobb?
To a straight pass, hit him on the bicep.
That game wasn't even that close. What the final score was at the end, it was just garbage time. Just adding on, at least 10. But Watson rushed in for the touchdown. But it's complete domination by Kansas City.
No,
absolutely.
They definitely. The last thing I'm gonna say on the Texans is they need to be able to throw the ball. Deshaun Watson is very dynamic.
They'll rebound.
They'll rebound, but
they're still a solid
They need
team.
somebody else to depend on. Kenny Stills, you need to come through, bro. Will Fuller is probably going to be their number 1. Kenny Stills is probably going to be their number 2, but they need better. The running game looks so much better with David Johnson. I
hope he stays healthy.
Yeah, if he can stay healthy, that running game looked so much better. They just need to be able to throw the ball to win these games.
Gentlemen, let's move on to the present, though. I'd like to start off with the Packers and Vikings. Aaron Rodgers threw for 364 yards, 4 touchdowns. Devontae Adams, 14 receptions, 156 yards, 2 touchdowns. we touched on this earlier today. That's something you do in the 6th game, not your first game opener.
14 receptions in one game is unbelievable, and especially like I know there's no fans. You know, what I mean, it makes a big difference.
Well, there's still
no
fans, but it's
there's
a couple
no fans, and the Minnesota crowd gets loud,
Yes.
right? It's
Yes.
You don't score 43 points in Minnesota.
No.
You just don't.
No.
Okay, but if
Especially
one
against
quarterback in the world were to do it,
a top-ranked defense,
who would do it?
Yes,
Aaron Rodgers.
only Aaron Rodgers.
fantastic
4
arm on
touchdowns,
him.
bro.
Fantastic
4
arm on him.
touchdowns.
These-
They shredded that Minnesota defense. They shredded it. Like
Non-existent.
Adams, 164 yards, right?
That's right.
Yeah.
Valdez Scantling got involved,
Putting work.
and Lazard got involved too. Aaron Jones also got a
That was a
touchdown.
full team effort for sure.
You don't see that a lot. Now, I'm going to call out these fantasy analysts, these fantasy ESPN. Everybody said, sit Rodgers, don't play him. Bro, I feel like as a coach, maybe a fantasy manager handling your team, sometimes you got to go with your gut. Yeah. And I feel like the sports nowadays is getting taken over by these
Analytics and
analytics and
Absolutely.
this and that.
Yeah, man.
It's like, bro, sometimes
And
you got to feel it in your gut.
You guys got to feel it good, and
Yes.
matchups.
Absolutely.
Well, look at the matchup. If anything, you can analyze something. Analyze the damn matchups. You know what I mean?
We'll analyze that. Aaron
We've been
Rodgers is-
watching football for a long time. We don't need these analytics to pursue
not
like
just
every
that, against-
other like
Well,
prediction.
you got to think about
I'm
it like
gonna call
this.
this-
I don't mean to cut you off. You got to think about it like this. If people are putting money on the table, they want to make sure that their predictions are to the best of their ability. They want it. They want it to be from a technologically sound place.
Sure,
and they don't want to be like, I'm putting up $10,000 potentially on a. He's in the past. He's played really well. They want to. They want to look at the analytics to make sure
Yeah,
that.
but again,
we'll
like
see.
analytics aren't anything. You know, they're
No,
not. They're
of
not
course.
like they're nothing major. I've always
I
felt
think
like
that-
that.
No,
right?
and then don't get
And
me
it's
wrong.
not always
Backfired.
about feel it in your gut. It's not always about that. Look at the damn matchups, man.
I'm
Look at
with you on
like
the
how they
matchup.
perform
It's a
against that
mixture of
particular
both.
defense.
No, and I get you on the matchups. I'm simply saying though, if I was gonna make a bet, an over/under, regardless win or lose, whatever that bet is, I want to make sure that I have, to the best of my knowledge, the best analytics on my side. And I'm not saying it's got to be everything that you decide that you're going to put your money on, and it's not going to be based off of. It's not always going to be the case, like you said. I'm just saying more often than not, I understand why people do it.
I definitely get the understanding, especially for the manager coaching perspective. But then I feel like even in other sports has backfired. I'm gonna bring this up, completely different sport. I felt like the Dodgers relied on the analytics too much in 2 World Series.
Yeah,
I
against
mean,
the
Versus bringing
There's only
in-
so much
going
analytics you
in
can
the
do on a
gut
team
feeling.
that's cheating on
Yeah,
you.
the
bro.
Astros. Yep.
That's
There
true.
we go.
I mean,
There we
that's
go.
true,
I
but
knew
I
it was
feel
gonna
like-
come up. I knew it was gonna
It was
come up.
gonna come up either way.
It was gonna
especially.
happen. It had to happen.
But
I-
it's just like going back to football and just
Yeah.
analytics in general is like so much physicality comes to play in this sport. That's why I was so entitled. Like, real men play football, bro. You're not gonna see. You're not. Other sports, people pretend to be hurt. In this sport, you pretend not to be hurt because you want to keep playing.
Yeah, you
One
want to
thing-
be on that 53-man roster.
Yeah. One thing I want to touch up on with the Minnesota and Green Bay game is Kirk Cousins. Guess how many throws he had in the first half? Attempts.
You tell me.
4.
That's
4?
That's horrible.
4.
You got to be kidding
He
me.
completed only 2 of them. And he had a pick.
So we're talking 50%.
So a lot of the scores
Out
that
of
they
4.
had when they put up 34 points, a lot of it was just garbage time, right? It wasn't like a legitimate threat to beat the Packers.
It was
Rodgers-
at the last second,
Kirk
just trying to
Cousins
catch
needs
up.
to. We always it's always the same story with him. He's such a. I don't even say he's overrated.
Well, let's
He's
just say this.
He doesn't
How do
come
you-
to
how
play.
do you
He's
like that?
not
Let's say
clutch.
this.
No.
He's won one playoff game. He won last year.
Let's say this. How do you like that? Not being able to catch up when you needed to, Kirk Cousins. Because that's his go-to when he comes. He was going back into the locker room after winning one playoff game,
Yeah.
and he was like, "How do you like that?"
Yeah.
But I think this game was like, "How do you like that, Kirk Cousins? You're barely catching up. You couldn't hold on."
Kirk Cousins is not a quarterback that I trust, and not someone I would want leading my team. Bottom line,
That's fair. That's totally fair.
he's
Gentlemen,
overpaid like crazy.
Gentlemen, I would like to talk about the Buccaneers versus the Saints. The Saints scored 34, Tampa Bay 23. Is Tom Brady showing his age? Marv, I want to start with you.
I think there you might be onto something, but I think there's just like a small percentage. Like, obviously, he's not gonna be that fresh kind of like run and gun Tom Brady, like call a shotgun and be able to just throw to any receiver that he wants.
Hey, let me ask you this: you want the good news or the bad news?
I think I'm always good news first, bad news
Okay,
second.
he threw 239 yards,
So that was decent.
2 touchdowns. Now, how about the bad news?
The bad news, 2 interceptions.
Yep.
So
Yep.
I think those 2 interceptions definitely put them behind, and he had to play from behind coming back, which is always hard, no matter who you are. It could be Tom Brady,
Especially against the Saints.
against the Saints, which are another stacked team.
Hey,
And they've gotten so much better
and offense-
defensively.
Yes.
Gevo, now that we're talking about the Saints, Drew Brees. He's 41 years old. He's not getting any younger, but I mean, he had a pretty great game today.
Yeah,
160 yards.
not the best Drew Brees game we've
No.
seen. Obviously, we've seen some amazing Drew Brees games,
but I felt like he held
but
back
it was
because they were
look,
up.
it was enough to get the win, and he got the job
defense
done.
is pretty good.
This is the bottom line.
Okay.
You know, sustained it. Same thing with Kamara. He only had not even 20 yards rushing, but he had a touchdown, and guess what? He had a reception touchdown.
2 touchdowns.
Yeah, he had a rushing and a reception
And a reception touchdown.
Hey, is his contract justified, Kamara's?
Yeah, man, you gotta pay the guy. You can't let him go.
No,
You
I'm
can't let
not
Kamara
saying
go.
let him go. I'm not
I
saying
would
Yeah.
say he was holding
You
out
have
for
to give
practice,
him.
then he showed up, and they negotiated the terms.
And then you got Latavius Murray backing him up, so it's
Murray
It's,
put in some work.
You know, and that's a solid, but they got to stay healthy, right? Last year's situation, week 2, he got hurt against the Rams. Luckily, I mean, Teddy Bridgewater did really good for that team, right?
Yeah.
He kind of, you know,
Filled in the gap.
Not only did it fill the gap, they got him into the playoffs. When Drew Brees eventually came back, unfortunately, they lost again. But still, Drew Brees needs a ring bad.
A second ring.
I know, since then, you know, it's I can't believe he hasn't won another ring since then.
They're always so
Never mind
good.
the jersey. I'm a Kurt Warner fan, by the way. I'm not actually a Rams fan. Kurt Warner's my
The
favorite
Saints,
quarterback of all time. Thought it was fitting.
When you talk about the Saints with Drew Brees, he's great at what he does, right? Whether you could be the Patriots coming to play, you could be the Cowboys, any of these hot teams coming to play. New Orleans is always a tough game. Offensively, they're great. Defensively, they're good. I would even say great at times as well, because a lot of more. You have Cameroon, Jordan, bro. Like, you have some straight beasts on the defense and the offensive side. So these guys, for them, like, I understand what you mean. Like, you feel like he should have or had maybe another 2 rings.
But
That's
then,
how good they said something.
now you look back, I mean, especially the two which stand out to me. The one in Minnesota, that Stephon Diggs catch. I mean, bro, which is worse,
was a
that
miracle.
one or the one against the Rams? I'm gonna say the one against Minnesota.
That's
'Cause
still
you
that's
had
still
a
Stephon
chance
Diggs.
to win.
Yes, that's still Stephon Diggs highlight reel, like the miracle in
Like
Minnesota.
that never happens. That
Never.
never happens.
Never.
Right? And then the Rams one was just bullshit. You know what I mean?
Is it okay for us to say that? Our producer's giving us the thumbs up. I think we're okay.
I think we're okay.
Have you guys signed your waivers?
Oh, wait, I
Your
think
parents signed them?
I think we're okay at this moment.
Just calling
this
it what it
point in
is,
time.
Chris.
Yeah, I know me and you are in the same boat. We started growing facial hair when we were about 12 years old.
I was maybe 14.
Our Hispanic friend over there was a late bloomer. Gentlemen, thank you for that take.
Even though he's older than me.
Just one more. With Tampa Bay, the last thing I would say, the short training camp that these guys have had because of the coronavirus definitely came into play with a lot of these games. Tampa Bay was very sloppy. They had way too many penalties. They're not going to win a game like that. 2 interceptions and so many penalties. Nobody's going to win.
To answer your question about the Brady, the question that you said earlier.
Yes.
If there's any quarterback that's going to get it together, like, it's a new group. These guys are young, but, you know, he has talent. Bottom line is
And
he has talent with
he's
this
a leader.
team.
He's a leader.
Yeah, but you got Godwin. I mean, you got Mike Evans. You got Gronk. You got, like, some legit tight ends, bro. OJ Howard.
Well, now you have 2 running backs, Ronald
Yeah.
Jones and Fournette.
I wish they get Fournette the ball, man.
Hey, but you know what,
You
guys?
know, like Ronald
I felt
Jones.
Hey, there was no
when he touched
there was
the
no
ball-
training camp this year, too, though.
There was
Very,
nothing.
very
Yeah.
short.
Like-
Very,
like
short.
very-
We're talking like a
minimal.
week. Talking a week, if that.
maybe a
I
month.
mean, obviously, everything's not going to be privy to us
Especially
fans.
the first one.
We're not going to always be in the know, but it did seem like this team was a lot of times out of sync.
a lot of times.
A lot of times.
And
they're
it
out
was
of
very
sync.
apparent with that first
Yes.
interception, right? The one where I believe it was in the first quarter.
He picked it up in
the first interception by Brady. He was looking for Mike Evans. Mike Evans they were just not on the same page.
No,
right? He's going this way. He was supposed to continue to route,
he barely
and then he ended up getting picked off.
He barely.
But he let those kids know. You know, when you got that kind. Right now, he's the GOAT. But I think it's going to be Patrick Mahomes when it's all.
We shall see. We shall see, gentlemen.
If anybody can whip him into shape, it should be Brady, bro. Can show those young guys how to play.
Hey, but speaking about Mahomes though, and even though this is going to be totally off topic, what is it about him that you see? And this is not a.
He makes the game look so easy.
No, that was the point that I was going to get to. It wasn't supposed to be a rhetorical question. This is a legitimate question.
He's able to throw off balance. Well, we talked about this a little bit. The guy plays basketball, baseball, and football, and I feel some of these athletes, and even myself, I feel like some of the way that these guys have moved, when you play multiple sports, your body can move in ways that other people don't move naturally.
He definitely has an advantage.
Definitely has an advantage. So he does jump catches off balance. He's getting tackled, for God's sakes, making a completion to get them into the playoffs. Like,
yes.
You know what's his most underrated? His most underrated
trait
attribute to his team. His leadership.
Yes.
At such a young age.
His leadership.
You don't get that. You don't get that.
Unbelievable leadership by Patrick Mahomes.
Well,
I'll give you an example. From last year's playoffs, when like that they're down 24-0 against the Texans, right? What other quarterback would have led that? Maybe Brady, maybe Rodgers.
Only
right?
them two.
But Patrick Mahomes, that's when I knew he was special.
When they were
right?
when
he led that team back, who cares if they were at home? You got the crowd on your side, right? There was 24-0, like in a blink of an eye, and they came back and won, and they won the Super Bowl, and they came back from that game too, and now he's a champion because of that. The guy's a born winner. I mean, and a leader.
Would you say some of these are?
And that's
traits?
what I'm saying. He's going to be the greatest quarterback when it's all said and done.
Let me ask you another question. Do you think some of these traits obviously can be learned? But I think leadership is one of those, and you might argue.
His father was an athlete too.
I don't think leadership is a trait you can learn, because I'm gonna piggyback.
I disagree.
Here's the thing. I'm gonna piggyback off of a player like Kawhi Leonard. Even though this is the NBA, we're talking about the NFL currently. I don't see Leonard being a leader. Therefore, I think Mahomes came into the NFL already having that in him.
Yes, that's true.
Look at Tom Brady. He's a natural born leader.
I feel I'm like not 100% disagree like Gev, and I 100% agree with you. I think it's somewhere in between, and it's like some people are naturally born leaders, and it's already in them to progress as leaders, and some people can learn, but not everybody can, right? It's like some people can learn who actually apply themselves to learn what people have to say and also project what needs to be communicated, because I think
with communication,
it's a give and take
with absolutely, Marvin.
Right?
Communication is obviously something you can learn, but I think inherently you're either a leader or you're not. And to be a good leader,
ultimately, yes.
But to be a good leader, you first got to be a good follower. Yes. And if you're not a good follower, you're not going to make a good leader.
So is that the alpha male argument too?
No, because I think alpha male
plays a big part.
I think alpha males in present day have a negative connotation attached to them, and oftentimes it's because they're not real alpha males. To me, an alpha male is somebody that holds down his family. He's got a respectable career. He's there for his wife. He's there for his kids. It's not somebody that's necessarily 6'8", 300 pounds as an offensive lineman or as a quarterback, whatever position, tight end, whatever position you want. But gentlemen, thank you for that. I would like to talk about the Cowboys and the Rams. New stadium. Marv, what are you thinking?
Oh, bro, so close.
20-17.
New
Your Cowboys lost by 3.
Yeah, by 3 with a couple. I feel like they're only a minute more, and they could have pulled it off somehow, some way. New stadium, SoFi Stadium, looks amazing.
State of the art.
I'm jealous of some of these Kansas City fans being able to watch their team at home. We in California, unfortunately, can't attend any games, and not even in a limited capacity. Like, nobody was there. I had a friend that was in charge of the maintenance there somehow, some way, was giving us a heads up of how cool the stadium looks. But unfortunately, we can't attend. So it was a really good game. I will say, definitely worth Sunday night game.
Marvin, you can thank your governor for that, by the way. Let's get him out. He's a garbage human being. Sorry, excuse of a man. But I would like to talk about Ramsey's $105 million contract. 5 years, he got paid fat.
The highest paid DB in the game. And I feel like there were some plays that he made it shine. He definitely let him know that he's there. I think that call with Gallup was definitely BS.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be the first
Big
person
time
that was
BS.
BS. Ramsey
BS.
held it. Now I'm gonna get close to Gev. Not the first time I got close to Gev, but
Won't be the last time.
But it won't be the last time either. Now, whenever there's an offensive pass interference, I think in any game, is like you give that full push, right?
Yeah.
That good push, that full extension of the arm, like nice push. And it was very like kind of hand slapping, kind of fighting for position. And I'll be the first to say, bro, that I don't think that was offensive pass interference,
Yeah,
and
I
that
agree.
doomed the Cowboys.
I agree. And it
That-
cost the Cowboys the game.
Cost
At least
them-
I could have
cost
tied
them
it
the
up. You know, I take that back. It didn't cost them the game. You know what cost them the game? The damn coach. Why are you going for it on 4th and 3?
There was
Tie the game.
They were saying that McCarthy's decision making came up in that, and I think
Yeah,
you
that's
know-
why Green Bay booted him.
my only reasoning to that, I'm going to say this: they already had a conservative, 2 extra conservative Jason Garrett. So I think that 4th and 3 kind of go for it was like, all right, Jason Garrett, how many times 4th and inches, 4th and 1, gave the ball back to Drew Brees and then lost. So I think Mark McCarthy was like, F it, I'm not Jason Garrett. I have Ezekiel Elliott, Dak Prescott, maybe a top 5 offensive lineman. Like, I'm gonna go for
Hey,
it.
but speaking of Dak Prescott, I picked him on fantasy. He underperformed today, in my opinion.
Well, today,
He underperformed.
so now I'm gonna tell you this: the Rams defense and the Cowboys defense showed up to play.
Just to go back to what you were saying about the conservativeness of the head coach.
Yes,
First of all, it was in the 3rd quarter, inside
Yes.
the 30. You have a whole another like 50
Quarter to
minutes
go,
plus the
50
3
minutes, yeah.
minutes that was left in the 3rd quarter. Tie the damn game. Tie the
Definitely.
game. Move on. Let your defense get a stop, and proceed from there. Now you're down 3. They ended up losing by 3 because they can't convert. I agree with you. The Jalen Ramsey call that shouldn't have been a call.
Hey, but if you're starting off the season,
and I think Jason McCarthy was just making a statement. I think you're right. If it was in the 4th quarter, probably I would have been a little bit more okay with it. Probably like, okay, let's do it. But
Yeah, I agree.
I agree. But in the 3rd quarter, I would as a coach myself or as a manager,
I was so surprised that they're staying on the field. What do you mean they're staying on the field, bro? Kick the field goal.
Yeah.
It was like maybe a 33, 34
because
yarder?
it would have been tied, and then it would have been. I
Who
feel
knows?
like a different flow of the game at that point.
Exactly, and now you're playing from behind again. You got defense needs to get another stop.
yes.
You know, and Jared Goff, like he wasn't like amazing, but he was throwing the ball today, too, especially to Robert Woods.
Yes.
Robert
Woods
want to talk about
looked
the
pretty
Rams.
good.
I want to talk about the Rams run game. Decent, very decent. Malcolm Brown had 2 touchdowns, but is this going to be something that can be going consistently? Is he going to lead the Rams? They're good enough. Is it let me say it this way: is the departure of Gurley going to be missed?
I think in the regular season they might be missed, but this 1-2 punch with Akers looked pretty good as a rookie. And Malcolm Brown, kind of that physical runner, give him the ball a little bit more. He wasn't able to do that when Todd Gurley was around. You're going to see how physical he can. Now, my point with that is I'm only going to say yes because neither of these 2 defenses are pushovers. You have a couple beasts on the Dallas side of Crawford and DeMarcus Lawrence, plus the 2 linebackers, Jalen Smith and Van Der Esch. Now, on the other side, the Rams side, Aaron Donald is, I would say, arguably the number 1 defensive lineman in the whole NFL. Hardest guy to guard. Even the Cowboys.
They got to double team him.
Even the Cowboys with a bigger offensive line than most teams have to double team this guy. Now you have Jalen Ramsey covering one of your best guys. You have some of these good defensive guys. Neither of these teams are defensively pushovers. So I think if they could run against the Cowboys, and the Cowboys could run against the Rams, they're going to be able to sustain some of these running games.
Quick, are the Rams a legit contender to win the division?
If Jared Goff could get some touchdown passes, yes, I feel like
So they need more help on the wide receiving.
yes.
So I like Cup and Woods. Obviously, they're aces. But then you guys, you got Reynolds. You know,
they need a little bit of help. Obviously, Woods and Cup are gonna, the safeties are gonna be covering them on that second level. On the
and they got
secondary.
Tyler Higbee and.
Yeah, I mean,
there's a couple nice tight ends.
Higbee looked okay. Some of these guys are coming, like Cooper Kupp and Higbee, are coming back from injury. So, the NFL, I'm gonna say, like a lot of these other seasons, baseball, basketball, football, everybody else had such a short camp, such a short time to meet up and be a team. So you're gonna see the sloppiness of Tampa. You're gonna see the Rams,
the Buccaneers
receiving, dropping, not being as good.
Yeah.
You're gonna see some of these teams not meshing well. I'm surprised the Cowboys look pretty decent at times. I feel like the defense definitely on these teams took over, and that's what made the difference.
But you know what? One thing I'm gonna leave the Rams conversation with this. Jared Goff is gonna have a legit year. You know,
just get some touchdown passes.
It almost feels like a rebuild. They lost so many players. Right, but I still think they have enough talent to do some damage. Potentially, maybe the 6th seed, 6th seed. I don't think they'll be any higher than that.
Good, so that's one off. The Raiders looked okay.
Okay. The Raiders are to be fun. They're running game.
Hey, you gotta be careful, man. You gotta be careful. You gotta be careful, man.
Hey, Raiders are a legit team. Shout out to anyone who's a Raiders fan. You guys got a legit team.
Hey, they're the most loyal fans. The Raiders can go one.
They're the craziest fans.
The Raiders fans can go 2-11.
Yes.
And they'll still sell out tickets.
Oh, yeah. Because their fan base, they have a very loyal fan base. Yeah. Gentlemen, that is all the time we have for football today. Thank you guys, as always. Cool. Really appreciate it. For our fans at home, please make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Share this video. It really helps us grow our channel. Stay tuned for more.